Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard. So we've got Justin Lemke with us. Sweet tea first. Thank you, Justin. I do have some sweet tea. I should check how much. Yeah, like three-fourths of a glass. Okay, you guys. So, you know how I was like, man, that looks like Kratz in that picture, but I don't know what he looks like and all this and everything. Well, it just so happens I stumbled on things that talk about Kratz in the Bembenek case. Like, not when the murder took place, but throughout the decades of investigation, Kratz's name comes up in Ira Robbins' reports. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to jump into this in a minute. It's again the Lori Bembenek blog spot. It's loribembenek.blogspot.com, and the link will be below in the video. And this is part 10, complete lack of ethics. And it talks about Kratz. What a perfect title. I mean, I have to tell you, Ira Robbins is now my hero. Now that I have found him, even though he's passed away, he's my hero. I've been doing a lot of research on some of the things that he has uncovered, and it means so much from our perspective, from Armchair Sleuths, the work he has done. So we're going to be jumping over in a little bit to one of his websites where he talks about the Attorney General. He talks about Norm Gahn. He talks about King Kratz. Yeah, this guy knew his stuff, and he had a lot of people that were backing him 100% with the investigation. He has extensive knowledge on corruption in Wisconsin specifically. So this is what we've been needing to focus. How is this happening to Stephen? And was it just Stephen? No. It seems to be that if they're challenged, like Bembenek challenged them and was going to cause an investigation into corruption, it gets squashed by framing the individual. Well, what was Stephen doing? He was stating, the truth. And he wasn't afraid to say that it was getting clearer and clearer that for 9 years at minimum, that the county knew he wasn't the one that had committed this terrible crime, that he was wrongfully convicted. And so the case was being pushed more or less onto these individuals that had done this, that had perpetrated that whole investigation to frame Stephen, right? So, in a sense, he's challenging the corruption of the county. Now, the question is, here's the big major question. When I've read what I have tonight, now it could, like I said, I have a disclaimer right now because I have a little fever going, but could the counties have taken over state? Because you start seeing that these states are protecting the counties like unrealistically. So before we read part 10, the complete lack of ethics, which talks about King Kratz, then we're going to jump into the whole Norm Gahn connection. I would like to jump up topside and see who we have with us. So again, we have Justin. Thank you for joining me. Hey, Ronald Cass is with us. Larry Starsman, good to see you. Linus Knight. It says, everyone have a dumbed down simplified update on the Stephen Avery KZ. Since New Year's, I've stepped away due to stress it's caused me. Hey, I feel you, Linus. I feel you. A dumbed down version is we're still sitting in a holding pattern. The state's got another extension. None of us like it. Nothing that we say seems to be taken on value. So locals have come forward. They're taking a stance. They're actually sending out affidavit notarized letters requesting a full investigation of the corruption of the counties, as well as there are some pictures out there that surfaced a few years ago, I believe. 8 pictures of cops on picnic tables from the Milwaukee area that allegedly are doing cocaine in front of children and dancing lewd. Okay, so that led us to the Bembenek case, and we dove into the Bembenek case only to see that everything Stephen Avery's gone through, the Lori Bembenek, she's she's passed away in 2010, but she went through it too. The framing, the corruption is just unbelievable. So there was this guy who was her investigator, Ira Robbins, and he furthered his investigation into Wisconsin corruption. And so we're going to be digging deep, deep, deep into this. So there's a simplified, dumbed down version. And, and we have the new website, no time coming out.org. That'll be out in March 1st. And that's about it that I can think of right now. Yeah, till the March 25th. I think Justin's right on that. True Nature. I'm so glad you made her live. Ash Holt, good to see ya. Okay, guys, I don't want to waste too much time because, we're all in Wisconsin kind of sick. So we have spurts of energy in between long, heated naps of a little bit of fever. All right, guys, this is part 10. Again, it's LoriBembenek.blogspot.com. And it's titled A Complete Lack of Ethics. For those of you that are just joining in, you might be new to the Bembenek case, or maybe you're just remembering what we're talking about. You didn't catch the other episodes. I'm going to read this dedication because it's like if the Stephen Avery people had to write a dedication, if we've lost one of our guys, this would be our words on this page. It's just heart-wrenching. So keep in mind, this was written in 2010, okay, before Ma'am was written. Lori Bembenek Info. This blog is dedicated to Lori Bembenek, who passed on November 20th, 2010. In her name, evidence of the corruption that permeates the Wisconsin criminal justice system and caused her false conviction and imprisonment will be exposed. It is hoped that the injustices she suffered will never again be endured by anyone else in the state of Wisconsin. I'm going to take a drink before I read further so I don't cough. This blog is also dedicated to attorney Mary L. Warrer, who has worked tirelessly in Lori's behalf for over 2 decades. Excuse me. Okay. One more drink and we're going to read this. This is here we get to connect some stuff about what's going on with the counties and the state and King Kratz's little story and all this, okay? So, Part 10, A Complete Lack of Ethics. On September 26, 2010, investigative consultant Ira Robbins filed a complaint with the Wisconsin Office of Lawyer Regulation Exhibit 10-1 concerning the cover-up of criminal and unethical conduct of the Attorney General and some of his subordinates in Bennett's and 2 other cases. He hand-delivered a letter reporting the criminal and unethical conduct of to Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen on August 3, 2008, but absolutely nothing was done to investigate or correct his allegations. On October 19, 2010, Robbins filed a 33-page petition and complaint in Dane County, Madison, in behalf of a John Doe judicial investigation into those same criminal allegations. By law, Dane County District Attorney Ismail R. Ozain is presently investigating the allegations but appears to be in an unethical position himself. How can he investigate the same people that he has a working relationship with? How can he complain about the same crime laboratory that he uses as a credible agency to prosecute criminal defendants, or the same Attorney General who may be called upon to defend his own conduct? The answer is he can't. Stop right there. It's the whole conflict of interest, right? Okay, let's keep going. On December 15, 2010, Robbins submitted a substantial amount of proof that supports his complaints to both Mr. Ozain and the Office of Lawyer Regulation, which included a letter from Attorney Joseph F. Owens, Exhibit 10-2. That letter spells out the exact conflicts of interest committed by the Attorney General and his subordinates and substanees Robbins' allegations to the OLR. The Attorney General's office had represented the state in prosecuting Bembenek while representing the state in defending Bembenek's civil lawsuit, simultaneously representing the crime laboratory for its criminal action at the same time representing the judge on Bembenek's writ of supervision. Since the district attorney, the attorney general, and Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Jeffrey Conan are all lawyers, it can be safely assumed that at least one or two of them know something about ethics. But a lack of ethics has been the rule, not the exception, under the recent three attorney generals, J.B. Van Hollen, Peg Lautenschlager, and Jim Doyle. They have been committing the same ethic violations for more than 2 decades. Now there is absolutely no doubt that the conflicts of interest and unethical conduct must be stopped. All of them should face disciplinary action. Stay tuned. Okay, before we read this, let's go back up to topside. All right. Let's see. Sienna says, hi, everyone. And, yes, Ira did pass on. I think I said it was in 2010, but no, that would have been Bembenek. I want to say he passed away in 2018. Don't quote me. I did read more or less a writing of his, and I believe we're going to dedicate the No Crime, No Time.org to Ira Robbins. When you're done with this live today, you'll feel it. It's just unreal. Deb Salmon says, love these shows. Interesting. She also says, I read through all of this after I watched your first. She's on this. Unbelievable shows. Yeah, Deb, this just, I want you guys, please dig in. It says, it's like part 1, and that's Bembenek case, and part 2 of the same novel, or the same writer, or the sequel. That's what it is. The sequel is the Avery case. It's unbelievable. And what we're about to talk about tonight, it just is shocking, startling. It just, the names that I have to repeat in the Bembenek case have me absolutely stuttering. I'm not kidding. Oh, thank you, True Native. Yeah, everybody's rooting for all of us to feel better. Like half the listeners have the same thing I have. We're all like, come on, we can do this, right? Well, apparently it gets us some time to focus on the case even stronger. So, whatever, right? Okay, guys, are you ready for this? Hang in there, Justin. Okay. Take a deep breath because we're about to dig into some crap. I mean, just pew. Okay, Ira B. Robbins, investigative consultant. I would love to re-roll time and be able to talk to him while he was alive. He would have been a guest on our show. I know it. He's incredible. September 26, 2010, Office of Lawyer Regulations. This is Madison, Wisconsin. Dear Sir and Madam, on August 3rd, 2008, I submitted the attached complaint entitled, quote, Unlawful Contact by WDOJ Employees to Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen. It contains specific allegations of professional and criminal conduct that have been committed by representations of the Wisconsin Department of Justice in relation to the state's prosecution of several individuals. To date, Attorney General Van Hollen has done absolutely nothing about these very substantial violations. He failed to investigate and report professional misconduct and criminal violations when he was presented with the proof that evidence had been manufactured by the head of the Wisconsin Regional Crime Laboratory, and state protocols had been temporarily changed to allow state experts to provide false opinions. He did participate in covering up those criminal acts. When he was presented with substantial evidence that his subordinates engaged in misconduct and in conflicts of interest, again, he failed to take action and covered up those violations. He has violated Supreme Court rulings regarding fairness, truthfulness, reporting misconduct within the state of Wisconsin. So now, as a citizen of the state of Wisconsin and the original complainant, I am filing this OLR complaint requesting a special investigation by your office into the professional misconduct of Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen. Additionally, I'm requesting that you forward my complaint to a special prosecutor, conduct a John Doe investigation, and criminally charge the Wisconsin Department of Justice employees involved in any reported criminal act and resulting covering up. It has been clearly recently demonstrated in the Calumet County District Attorney King Kratz case that the AG will only take action against one of his, quote, boys when he is absolutely forced to do so, and will blame the problem on the OLR or any other scapegoat. I have copied for your convenience the first few paragraphs from a recent news story about the AG. Quote, the Wisconsin Department of Justice closed its investigation into Calumet County District Attorney Ken Kratz sexually charged text messages to a crime victim without interviewing Kratz, according to records of the investigation made public Friday. DOJ Executive Assistant Dean Strinsberg said his agency investigation was, quote, absolutely thorough. He said agents collected all the evidence they needed to determine that a crime had not been committed. Attorney General J.B. Van Hollen has been highly critical of the Office of Lawyer Regulation for declining to investigate possible ethic violations by the 50-year-old prosecutor who tried to spark a relationship with a woman who ex-boyfriend Kratz was prosecuting for strangling her. The glaring question is, how can the same idiots who determined Kratz did not commit a crime now step forward as special prosecutor and prosecute him for what they themselves determined was not a crime? Although Kratz has actually tampered with the witness, do you really think the Attorney General will now criminally charge him? Not a chance. In support of my complaint, I hereby request that you contact all of the following witnesses who will readily verify the information in my complaint. We've got Attorney Mary L. Warrer, Attorney Joseph F. Owens, Winnebago County Assistant District Attorney Michael Balaskas, I think I said that okay, Sheila Martin Berry, Wisconsin State Journal reporter D. Hall. There is no crueler tyranny than that which exercised under cover of law and with the colors of justice. Contact me if you require any additional information. I am Ira B. Robbins. I felt like bawling, you know? This just... I'm just scrolling. Here it goes on about Mark Williams here. In Miss Bembenek's case, Attorney General's office represented Judge Conan, Milwaukee County District Attorneys Robert Donahoe and Mark Williams, and administrative employees of the Wisconsin State Crime Lab staff in both the civil and criminal cases. This matter involved the retesting and preservation of evidence relating to DNA testing and ballistics testing. The Attorney General's office appeared to have directly participated in covering up and in the presentation of perjured testimony by state crime laboratory management relating to ballistic test-fired bullets. This involved criminal conduct by state agents, which, if prosecuted, could have resulted in civil liability to the state of Wisconsin for violating Miss Bembenek's civil rights. However, the Attorney General's office represents the state of Wisconsin for civil liability purposes. This results in a non-waivable conflict of interest. In other words, it would expose the state to civil liability for monetary damages if the Attorney General were to prosecute a state agent criminally. The result is the refusal by the Attorney General's office to criminally prosecute state agents and actively participate in conduct covering it up. And then they go on to name about the Oshkosh. I mean, this is so many different counties. No comments on this page. So let's go back over top side. And let's see, Ronald Cass says Bambi ended up taking an Alford plea after AMW was responsible for her capture. This got the authorities off the hook, and she died with never getting justice. That's so sad, Ronald, Jamie says. Deb says the same thing, sad. It is sad. And they stalled it out for 20 years. We've got to get people on this. We've got to get people paying attention. That's what they're doing in the Stephen Avery case. They're repeating history. So, and if you don't believe me, I'm going to tell you something. I clicked the more evidence here of corruption. It took me to this page. And I'm going to read this little part for you right here. Now, this was written in Saturday, July 16, 2011. Is the Milwaukee County District Attorney unethical? So here's an excerpt of it. Let me grab a drink real quick. Okay. Here we go. The article further indicates the Assistant District Attorney Norm Gahn, the same prosecutor who did everything he could to obstruct and derail Bembenek's DNA testing, participated in the case reviews. In one Bembenek issue, Gahn, who always argues on case he prosecutes that the DNA is not contaminated, changed his position and claimed the DNA found by her experts was contaminated in the state crime laboratory. In another, he participated in covering up the facts about the contamination, and another argued against everything that could have been used on her behalf. He did everything he could to assist in maintaining the cover up the truth. Right? And then let's scroll down here. It's public officials wrongdoing concealed. And in a minute, we're going to read about Miss Peggy Lautenslager, what happened to her in 2004. So let's go back up to topside. So, let's see. Thank you, True. Jamie Van Hoot. I want to know how in the hell KK can have so much pull, along with all the other corrupt bastards. It's like they're untouchable. Unbelievable. Oh, you got it. Oh, my golly, you got it. Okay, I haven't read this next part, but I believe it's going to have a lot to do with Norm Gahn. I could be wrong. But by the title, we could have it. So I just got to find where it is. Is a district attorney honest? Let's see if this is one I've read. Is this one we read already? I don't think we have. I'm just going to scroll and see if it says anything at all about... Oh, we got to read this. I don't know what it's about, but let's read it, all right? So we're going to do part 9. We may have to go back and label what parts we've gone over. Are you guys ready for this one? All right, let's do this. Monday, December 20th, 2010, part 9. Is the district attorney honest? Since late 1984, private investigator Ira Robbins has worked to defend Lori Bembenek, and to that end has developed so much evidence that anyone who reviews those materials knows that she never received any semblance of a fair trial. But instead of admitting that an innocent person may have been convicted, the former district attorney, E. Michael McCann, actively worked to derail any chance she might have had for a fair trial, and now a representative of the new district attorney, John Chisholm, has publicly stated the district attorney's office stands by the integrity of their prosecution of Bembenek. That, even after he never responded to attorney Mary Warr's written request for a meeting to discuss the facts surrounding the wrongful conviction of her client. What's wrong with that picture? Over the years, Robbins delivered dozens of sworn affidavits and letters, Exhibit 9-1, to McCann. Some of those affidavits contain the information proving the prosecutor had used false information and evidence to convict Bembenek. Affidavits with evidence concerning the nude activities of the police officers, the false reports of detectives Alfred Schultz and Michael Durfee, how the wig was really placed in the plumbing, the concerns of the medical examiner about police interference at the scene and planted evidence, and myriad of other facts were created by Robbins and many individual witnesses. Robbins also created many reports for McCann, but McCann's only response was that Robbins had no credibility. Isn't that what they say about the locals now? You know, don't they like to, don't the people that are against us, don't they always try to discredit us? It's really sad. So, on one occasion in 1990, McCain told the media that he had never spoken with Robbins. When Robbins became aware of McCain's statement, he immediately requested an appointment to speak with him. McCain told Robbins, "There will be no meeting if you notify the media." Robbins complied with McCann's warning and did not notify the media. Inside McCann's office, Robbins told McCann about each and every piece of evidence and information he collected. He also provided a list of suspects, although McCann's court reporter was present with her I can't say that. I've got a cold. Stenographic machine. I had to say it super fast. I don't even think I did it justice. Oh, what did I do? I clicked something. He told her to just make some notes on a legal pad. Obviously, McCann did not want a transcript of Robbins' information. After almost 3 hours, Robbins walked out of McCann's office and found reporters from all of the radio, television, and print media waiting outside. When questioned, Robbins honored McCain's request and stated the district attorney will be reviewing the matter, and made no other statement. An hour later, McCann told the media, "Robbins has given me nothing new or of importance." If McCann thought for 1 minute that he had just gotten rid of Robbins, boy, was he wrong. Click on the image to enlarge. All right, before we do that, let's go topside. Okay. Excuse me. So Roncast says KK has a lot of pull because he is a real jerk. Well, I don't think it's just that. There's something else. Yeah. Why does KK have that kind of pull, you guys? We got to get to the bottom of that. I'm just saying, do the counties have something one up on the state at this point where the counties are... I don't know. I mean, the state does have to drive cars, and if they misbehave and they get caught, maybe drunk driving or something like that, are they at the mercy of being blackmailed? Because we know that Corruptionville likes to blackmail individuals big time. So Jamie Van Hoot says, how is it that the FBI or CIA to look into all the corruption? I don't understand it, as blind man can see through corruption in Wisconsin. Hi, Malia. How are you doing? Justin says, sounds like Avery trial. You can test evidence or you can drop the appeal. Yeah. Excuse me. Debbie says they all know something on each other. Well, now that you mention it, let's dig into that. We're going to jump back over here and we'll come back to that letter in a minute. I want to read this to you because it's perfect timing. That's not all. This is Ira Robbins writing this. That's not all. In February 2004, now this is a year before the Avery case, right? Former Wisconsin Attorney General Peg Lautenschlager, the state's top law enforcement officer, was arrested in Dodge County for driving under the influence of intoxicants in her state-owned car. Her husband, William Ripple, a Neenah police officer, responded to the Dodge County Sheriff's Department and picked her up. Although it is public knowledge that Lautenschlager was ultimately convicted of driving under the influence of intoxicants, a check of Wisconsin's Circuit Court access file reveals no information or evidence that a conviction under either her name or her husband's. Excuse me. Just for giggles, we're going to go ahead and read the next little bit because it could come into play. But there's more. In August 2004, the head of the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Safety Office, John H. Evans, that's a DOT, the head of it was convicted of Wisconsin's DOT, was convicted of operating while intoxicated. Also in August 2002, Guy Gottschalk, the president of the University of Wisconsin Board of Regents, acknowledged and re-apologized for driving drunk in March 2002. And in 1997, Dane County Circuit Judge Moore Kruger was arrested for drunk driving. Wisconsin Circuit Court Access provides no information or evidence about these cases. The people responsible for removing all these public records should be penalized to the maximum extent of the law. On July 12, 2011, I personally reported both the judge, Jeffrey Conan, and Peg Lautenschlager to Dan Bies of the No Quarter section to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. No mention in the paper as of July 21st, 2011. Okay, isn't it interesting, like, all these people are getting crap happen to them right before the Avery case? Like, who's pulling the strings here? I mean, somebody's pulling the strings that gets the head of the DOT pulled over. And the Wisconsin Attorney General. Question of ethics. How can we respect the Wisconsin Supreme Court when the moral and ethic conduct of its members is in question? Justice Annette Ziegler has been disciplined for conflicts of interest in cases where she ruled in favor of corporations wherein she had an undisclosed personal financial interest. Charges against Justice Michael Gableman for lying about his opponent, Justice Louis Butler, during their election campaign were dropped when the other justices voted a 3-3 tie about his case, therefore making the case a moot issue. It just gets all political, you know. I'll let you guys come here and read all this. Talks about Ann Walsh here. Or Walsh. I have a hard time saying that. Okay, let's go back up to the top side. Then we're going to get back into the Bembenek case. Hey, Crockett, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Shaz. Yeah, it just keeps getting thicker. We've got Norm gone. He's in the mix of the Bembenek case. He's got his hands in the Avery case. We've got King Kratz's name showing up. We've got Michael Camps. We've got Mark Williams' name showing up. What if the puppet master is able to use his county to pull over these state officials and get dirt on them to put them under his thumb? So what if the county's got a bigger britches than the state? I mean, seriously, some of it was on the force for 35 years. Oh, yeah, Shan, sorry, I don't sound well. Yeah, Gon's in the Bembenek case. So we can go back to the report there. I'll just paraphrase it. The article indicated that Assistant District Attorney Norm Gon, the same prosecutor who did everything he could to obstruct and derail Bembenek's DNA testing. Gon, who argued on the case, he prosecuted that DNA is not contaminated, changed his position and claimed the DNA found at her experts was contaminated. So he argued her civil case as well as her argued against her in one case and argued for her in another. It's really stupid. There's such a bad conflict of interest, and it all, no matter what, it was always against Bembenek and didn't help her. And Norm Gon was a big part of that. And so we're going to read this. It's Ira Robbins' Private Investigations Special Assignments. It's dated November 2nd, 1990. And it's Mr. E. Michael McCann, District Attorney. Read. Misconduct in public office, obstruction of justice, and perjury concerning the prosecution of Lorenza Bembenek. Hold on just a minute. Yeah. This is written by Ira Robbins. I don't know if I can read this all the way through because I'm going to have to jump off here because I'm getting to where I need to cough really, really bad and probably lay down. But we're going to read a little bit of it and then you guys can get in here and dig in. Obviously, if Norm Gon is involved, and DNA is involved, and it's showing that he's being unethical in this case, it just further compounds the unethicalness of him in the Avery case, right? So I'm not up to reading this, actually, so I'm going to let you guys do that. I'm going to come up to topside. Anything is possible because the corruption is unbelievable, Shaz says. Yeah. Shaz says, Rubberducky, for the new website, can you just do a year at a time? Yeah, you can do $12. Now, keep in mind, you don't get much for your money. Really, honestly, you get some videos. The whole website is made for public access. Those of you that want to become a member, you get some perks, but it's not major. It's just there's going to be a few of you that just want to basically support the idea of freedom of speech so that we can afford it to continue it. It's all paid for this year. I covered that. No big deal. There was one person this year that has put $100 toward it, which helped immensely. But yeah, you don't need to become a member. Most of it's free. There are some chit-chats like this that eventually will be more private that you'll get if you're a member. Otherwise, anything that's case related that is important to court records or evidence photos, that's all going to remain free, okay? So no worries, it's public access as much as possible. But I am looking forward to Who Wants Truth, because that's going to be a blog that's coming out. It's a forum, and you can participate and talk, and you can attach things, and you can have upvote and downvote. Well, I don't think you can downvote. I think you can only upvote. So, all right, back to Bembenek. Sorry, guys. If I felt better, I promise you I would stay on, and I would read this to you. Please go read it. The link is down below. And we'll try to get back on tomorrow when I hopefully am feeling a little bit better. All right. Love you guys much. Bye for now.